This is KM Logan from lessonsfromivy.com, and I would like to tell you how the internet almost caught my house on fire. A few weeks ago, when I was on Pinterest, before I read that viral blog post that made everybody way too afraid to ever go on Pinterest again, before I read that, I was on Pinterest and I found this neat little project where you can make cakes in mason jars, and I thought, hey, that sounds like something my girls would probably really like. So I got that nifty little idea from Pinterest. And then the other day, I got another nifty little idea where instead of making dinner every single night, you make all your dinners for the month one day, and then you stick them in the freezer. That way you have all your meals ready and made. And I thought, that sounds like a good idea. I'm a mother with 3 little kids, so maybe this would help out if I do all my cooking in one day. When I have my husband home to watch the kids, we'll get the cooking done, and then just the rest of the time I can spend time cleaning and blogging and writing and just being super mom, and everything will be great, and I can be the mom my kids need because I don't have to make dinner, right? So as I'm thinking this, I told my husband that I wanted to try and make a month's worth of meals in one day, and he kind of looked at me funny, and I said, no, I really want to do it. And he looked at me funny again, and I said, will you watch the kids? And he said, sure. So yesterday we essentially spent the whole entire day cooking, and also we were in the middle of potty training my middle child, also because of the internet, because of another YouTube video I saw that said that you need to make sure that your child is potty trained before they reach 2 years old, because once they reach 2 years old it's so much harder, which I somewhat believe, because when I did potty train my oldest, who was over 2 years old at the time, it became a massive struggle of wills and wound up with a few days where every single toy in our house was in the closet. I did not want to go through that again. So we started potty training because of the YouTube video, and we were potty training yesterday, and we were also cooking all of our food yesterday. And as it gets towards the end of the day, things actually were going pretty smoothly. The kids were in good spirits. We were in good spirits. It was one of those days where it's just like, thank you, God. It was just a blessing. Well, we get into the evening, and I tell my husband 30 minutes before we were going to have our actual dinner. Keep in mind, we've made about 20 meals up until this point. Now we've actually got to make our real dinner that we're going to eat that night. And I tell him, you know what? I think I want to do just a little bit of baking, then I'll freeze what I make, and we can eat it throughout the month too. He looks at me kind of funny, as if I'm pressing my luck, and I said, no. It'll be fine. We'll just, make the food, and, no big deal. I'll just whip up a couple of muffins, I'll whip up some biscuits, and, we'll be good. And he just kind of looks at me funny again, and I said, I'm going to make some biscuits, and he said, okay. So I made some muffins. Got those in the oven. It's 400 degrees, so I start making biscuits, and I start making my little cake that I'm going to, my Pinterest cakes in the mason jars. So I get my cake ready, and I put some food dye in there because my daughter only eats food that are pink or blue right now. That's her little phase. So I get some food dye in there, make the cake pink, and it's in the mason jars that look all pretty. I have them in 4 different mason jars ready to go in the oven, right? So I get them in the oven, and I stick them on the rack, and I think to myself, those are kind of wobbly. I hope they don't tip over. The problem is, however, I would have normally put them on a baking sheet of some sort, but I just did all of my cooking in one day. I did not have a single baking sheet left in the house. And then also, the reason why I was using mason jars was because I didn't even have anything to bake a cake in, because all of my food things were used. So I've got my mason jars in there. I'm getting my biscuits ready, and I love homemade biscuits. They are my favorite thing in the world. I think Bisquick needs to be I don't know. I'm not sure what type of awards they need to win, but they need to win them because I love Bisquick and I love biscuits. So we get the biscuits ready, get them on, in my little glass baking dish because I didn't have a cookie sheet because that was already in use. So I get the biscuits on my glass baking dish, and I stick them in the oven, and when I put them on the rack, my mason jars tip over. So I'm screaming for my husband to come and help me. He's holding the baby, trying to get the baby set down so he can come and help me. He thinks something's on fire. It's not yet. And I've got batter running down the side of my oven, and I've got it running into underneath the heating element where the actual flame is. And I've got, these little pancakes happening on the side of my oven and on the bottom of my oven. And I've got the biscuits that are slowly melting because they're in the heat of the oven, but the oven door is open, so they're not exactly cooking. And I say to my husband, quick, take the biscuits and stick them in there. And he's looking around for this pot, holder, but he can't find one because there isn't one because they're all dirty. But he grabs the biscuits, sticks them in the refrigerator, and I just throw up my hands and say, I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose these biscuits. I don't want to lose this cake. I was able to salvage some of the cake batter, and we had the biscuits in the refrigerator. But the problem is this was gluten-free cake mix and gluten-free Bisquick. And here's the thing about gluten-free food, if you don't know. When you go to the store, they have a little kiosk set up so you can sell your kidneys so you can afford to buy the gluten-free food. Okay, just kidding. But it practically feels like that. So instead of this being like a $1 box of cake mix or a $2 box of Bisquick, this is like a $5 box of cake mix and a $5 box of Bisquick. So here's the thing. I really didn't want to waste that money. So I said to my husband, well, let's try and scrape this out a little bit. Let's try and get the oven as cleaned up as we can. And, trying to clean a 400-degree oven is a tricky thing. So we had to try and find some sort of metal utensil that wasn't buried under dirty dishes. We were able to find one. I scraped it out of the oven, and we were all good. And I look underneath where the heating element is, and I say, do you think that's going to smoke, or do you think it'll actually catch on fire? And my husband shrugs, and I shrug, and I say, well, I don't want to waste this batter. So we stick it in there. And, I'm kind of watching it, kind of hoping that things cook quickly, because I have the little cake now that's like this anemic little pink cake. And then I have my biscuits that are in there. And after, about 4 minutes, we start, I open up and I start seeing flames and the smoke is coming out. So I'm calling for my husband again. He's got the baby. He's trying to put the baby down. We've got, the 22-month-old who's running around our feet who we're trying to keep out of the kitchen. We've got my 3.5-year-old who thinks this is all great fun, and she's running around in circles going, where's the fireman? Where's the fireman? Because the smoke detector was going off. So we've got this fire going on the oven. I reach up for the salt. I pour it on there because I wanted the smoke to stop. So pour it on there best I can. Shut the oven door. Fire goes out. All is well, right? Not so, because now I have biscuits and cake that have cooked in the oven for 5 minutes. So I couldn't very well just stick them in the fridge. So again, these are gluten-free biscuits. And quite frankly, I didn't want to waste them. So do you know what Mommy did to the biscuits last night?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? How did I cook them? Do you remember?
Yeah, like this.
Is that what I did? We took the biscuits. I took a big spoon, stuck it in a bowl, stuck it in the microwave for 1 minute, and we had microwaved biscuits for dinner. And after I did the biscuits, I took the cake and I shoved it in the microwave for 1 minute, and we had microwave cake for dessert. And that, my friends, is how the internet almost burnt down my house, and I learned how to make microwaved biscuits. Hope you have a good day. And I hope you visit me at lessonsfromivy.com. This is Ivy, by the way. Yep, that's my Ivy. That's where I learn my lessons. Bye.